Welcome. Welcome to the deep dive, everyone. I am so pumped for this one.
Yeah, hi. I am too. It's a great topic today.
It really is. So I want you to imagine, just for a second, paying thousands of dollars a year for a product that you actively, genuinely want to stop using.
Right, like just throwing money away.
Exactly. A product that literally drains your health, dictates your daily schedule, and completely controls your mood.
It sounds wild when you put it like that.
It does. Today, we are diving into this massive stack of behavioral psychology sources, some neurobiology studies, and habit-building research to really unpack what I think is the ultimate mind trap.
The cigarette mind trap, specifically.
Yes, exactly. We're talking about breaking bad habits, the cigarette mind trap. And I want to speak directly to you, the listener, for a second here.
Yeah, because this applies to everyone, really.
For sure. Whether you are, secretly wishing you could stop biting your nails, or maybe you're spending absolute fortunes on junk food every single week.
I've been there with the junk food.
Right. We all have. Or maybe you're dealing with what I honestly think is the most fascinating habit on the planet, which is smoking.
It really is just a completely fascinating topic, especially when you look at the research.
Oh, yeah. What stands out the most to you?
Well, what stands out in all these sources is, like, the central paradox of it all. If you talk to almost anyone who smokes, they will admit to you, flat out, that they want to stop.
Yeah, that's true. They know exactly what it's doing to their body.
Right. They know the risks, and yet, day after day, they just keep lighting up.
Which, okay, on the surface, that feels like a total contradiction, right? I mean, if you know something is bad for you and you want to stop, logically, you should just stop.
Exactly. And the literature is very, very clear right off the bat about this. This is not because smokers lack brain power.
Okay, so it's not an intelligence thing.
Not at all. It has nothing to do with intelligence or, a lack of willpower. What we are looking at is an incredibly clever mental illusion.
An illusion? Wow.
Yeah, it's basically a biological trick of the mind. And understanding exactly how this bad habit tricks your brain architecture is, well, it's the very first step toward reclaiming your health and your money.
Okay, I hear you, but let me push back for a second. Wait, if it's just a habit, why is it so hard to break?
That's the big question.
Right, because, isn't smoking just like something fun to do with coffee? People genuinely seem to enjoy the whole ritual of it.
That is a very valid point, actually, and it perfectly illustrates how the brain works.
How so?
Well, if you ask a smoker why they're lighting a cigarette, you'll usually hear a few very relatable reasons. They'll say, well, it gives my idle hands something to do.
Oh, right, the hand fixation.
Exactly. Or they'll say, it goes perfectly with my morning coffee. And the thing is, they aren't lying.
They really feel that way.
They do.
Yeah.
But what is actually happening beneath the surface is a process in neurobiology called Hebbian learning.
Hebbian learning. Okay, you're going to have to break that down for me.
Sure. So the basic rule of Hebbian learning is neurons that fire together wire together.
Fire together, wire together. Catchy.
Right. Over time, your brain acts like a master electrician. It wires the physical act of holding a cigarette to, like, feelings of friendship or cool vibes or just taking a break from a really boring work event.
Oh, I see. So it's not just about the chemical nicotine anymore.
Exactly. Your brain has completely fused the nicotine with the entire social experience.
Wow. So if you are at a party and you don't know anyone, having a built-in excuse to step outside and ask a stranger for a light, that isn't just an excuse.
No, it's not.
Your brain actually links the cigarette to the relief of that social connection.
Precisely. It becomes a deeply wired neurological ritual, and this is why it requires a real strategy to end the cycle.
Because you're fighting your own brain wiring.
Right. You are untangling years of brain wiring to successfully end that negative routine. And honestly, we have a great phrase for this. It's to kick the habit.
To kick the habit.
Yeah. It takes a lot of patience. But millions of people manage to kick the habit every single year.
And when you say to kick the habit, you just mean they completely end that harmful daily routine for good?
Exactly. Millions do it. But to do it successfully, you have to really understand the environmental traps.
Okay, traps like what?
Well, let's go back to your point about the morning coffee. Things like drinking a cup of coffee, having a glass of wine, or even finishing a large meal. Those act as highly dangerous signals for your brain.
Because of that Hebbian learning you mentioned.
You got it.
The neurons have literally wired the coffee and the cigarette together. So you take a sip of coffee, and your brain immediately expects the smoke.
Right. In behavioral psychology, we call these environmental cues.
Okay.
The coffee itself isn't the problem. But because it has been paired with smoking for so long, the smell and taste of the coffee send a direct signal to your brain.
And then what happens?
Your brain then prepares your body for the nicotine, creating this massive spike in desire. Ultimately, we call this to trigger an urge. Drinking a hot cup of coffee in the morning can easily trigger an urge to light a cigarette.
So to trigger an urge is basically just to spark that sudden, intense physical craving based on a cue.
Exactly.
It's like the coffee is the starting gun, and your body starts running the race before you even realize what's happening.
That's a great way to picture it, actually. And that urge feels overwhelming because of dopamine.
Ah, dopamine, the pleasure chemical.
Well, that's the thing. We often think dopamine is the chemical of pleasure, but it's actually the chemical of anticipation.
Oh, wait, really? Anticipation.
Yeah. When you smell the coffee, your dopamine spikes, pushing you to seek out the cigarette. It's the craving, not the reward itself.
Wow, okay. So I hear you on the brain wiring. The coffee is a cue, the social aspect is a cue.
Right.
But wait, doesn't smoking actually help people chill out?
That's a very common belief, yeah.
Like, just imagine your boss is just yelling at you, the deadlines are piling up, the phones are ringing off the hook. Going outside for a smoke is sometimes the only thing that genuinely calms people down.
I know it looks that way.
So are you saying that stress relief isn't real?
Well, this is where the behavioral research is absolutely brilliant, and it exposes where the mental illusion is at its strongest.
Okay, lay it on me.
Let's look at the physical reality of that stressful moment with the boss. A cigarette does not actually solve your work stress.
Right.
It does not finish your project.
Yeah.
And it certainly doesn't change your boss's personality.
Well, obviously not. I mean, the work is still sitting there on your desk when you get back inside.
Right. So what did the cigarette actually do?
I don't know, gave you nicotine.
All it really did was force you to step outside and take a 5-minute pause.
Oh.
You removed yourself from a loud, chaotic office environment. You went out into the fresh air. You took deep, rhythmic breaths, because smoking literally requires deep inhalation and exhalation, and you stepped away from the immediate problem.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The cigarette is entirely stealing the credit for the mindfulness break you just took.
That is wild. You aren't actually relaxing because of the tobacco. The cigarette just forced you to take a mandatory time out.
Exactly.
You are basically doing breathing exercises, but you're giving all the credit to the paper stick.
It's a complete illusion.
Mm.
But there is a second layer to this illusion, which is the physical feeling of relief.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, smokers always talk about that wave of physical calm when they take that first drag. And that physical relief is real, but its source is completely misunderstood.
How so? If the calm feeling is real, how is it an illusion?
Because the cigarette is a false emotional strategy. People use it to manage their stress, but they don't realize what the nicotine is actually doing to their baseline stress levels. Which brings up a really important phrase here, a coping mechanism. Many people think smoking is a great coping mechanism, but it actually increases your long-term anxiety.
Because a coping mechanism is just like a psychological tool we use to deal with difficult emotions, right?
Exactly.
So people use smoking to cope, but it's making the anxiety worse. How does that work?
It increases your anxiety because the relief you feel in that moment isn't true relaxation.
Then what is it?
When you smoke, your body quickly becomes dependent on nicotine. After an hour or two, that nicotine leaves your system, and your body actually goes into a mild state of chemical withdrawal.
Oh, so you start feeling agitated, nervous, and stressed just from the withdrawal itself.
Yes. So when the boss yells at you, you're feeling regular work stress combined with the physical stress of nicotine withdrawal.
That sounds awful.
It is. So when you go outside and smoke, you're simply feeding the chemical addiction. You satisfy the craving, the withdrawal pangs go away, and you just feel normal again for a few minutes.
Okay, let me make sure I understand this. It's like, okay, imagine you decide to wear a pair of tight, incredibly uncomfortable shoes all day long.
Oh, I like where this is going.
Your feet are just aching and screaming in pain for hours. And you do this on purpose just so you can feel the absolute joy and relief of taking them off when you finally get home.
Yes, that is the perfect analogy. You are purposely creating a problem, the nicotine withdrawal, just to fix it and feel normal again.
Wow.
The cigarette doesn't cure your stress. It creates the physical stress of withdrawal, pretends to solve it, and then takes the credit for calming you down. You are literally just taking off the tight shoes.
That is just wild. You are walking around in tight shoes all day thinking the shoes are your best friend because they let you take them off at 5 p.m.
Exactly.
What a massive scam. Okay, so what does this all mean for someone listening who is trapped in this cycle?
That's the most important part.
Because since we now understand the trick, right, we see the illusion, we understand the Hebbian wiring, we see the tight shoes, how do we actually defeat it? Because nobody wants to suffer endlessly, and we don't have magic wands to just fix it instantly.
No, we don't. But this raises the most important question of the sources. How do we translate this neurobiology into action?
Right. Give us the hacks.
The good news from behavioral science is that you don't need magic. You just need practical, real-world hacks that address the habit loop.
The habit loop.
Yeah, the habit loop consists of 3 parts: the cue, the routine, and the reward.
Right. I've read about this. Charles Duhigg talks a lot about this. The cue is the coffee, the routine is smoking, and the reward is the dopamine hit from the break.
Exactly right. So hack number 1 addresses this directly, and it's swap the ritual.
Swap the ritual.
Yeah. The brain loves the ritual of the break, the holding of the object and the social aspect. You cannot just delete a habit. You really have to replace the routine.
So you keep the cue and the reward, but you change the action right in the middle.
Yes. Keep the mandatory 5-minute break, but remove the smoke.
Okay, so what do you do instead?
If your brain's motor loop is used to holding something in your hands or your mouth, give it a substitute. Replace the cigarette with a toothpick or chew on a straw.
Oh, nice.
Drink a cup of herbal tea instead of your usual coffee to break that Hebbian association with that specific smell. Keep your hands busy with a stress ball or start doodling on a notepad. You basically occupy the brain's pathways with something harmless.
I love that. You are honoring the fact that your brain needs a pause. You are still going outside, but you are bringing a cup of tea instead of a lighter.
Exactly.
But what about the chemical side, though? Like the actual physical nicotine withdrawal?
That leads us to hack number 2, which is about personal strategy. When it comes to the chemical side, the research shows you really have to decide how you want to approach the finish line based on your personality type.
Personality type, okay.
Yeah, some people are highly methodical. They prefer to reduce their count slowly. They go from 20 cigarettes a day down to 10, down to 5, letting their dopamine baseline adjust gradually over weeks.
Which makes sense for people who like gentle transitions, but I imagine that drawn-out process is just like pure torture for other people.
Oh, absolutely. For people who are more impulsive, drawing it out just prolongs the agony of the tight shoes.
Right.
For them, it is much more effective to just stop everything at once. We have a great phrase for this: to go cold turkey. Some people prefer to cut down slowly, while others choose to go cold turkey and stop immediately.
So to go cold turkey just means stopping an addictive habit instantly.
Yeah.
No stepping down, no tapering off, just boom, done.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm definitely a cold turkey kind of person. Like if I have one cookie left in the jar, I'm going to eat it. I just have to throw the whole jar in the trash.
And that self-awareness is key. Now, speaking of jars, that brings us to hack number 3 from our sources, which leverages neuroeconomics.
Neuroeconomics.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me how a jar ties into economics and the brain.
It's called the money jar trick.
Yeah.
So our brains suffer from something called temporal discounting.
Temporal discounting.
Yeah. It basically means we value rewards that happen right now much more than rewards that happen in the future.
Wow, that makes total sense.
Right. Saving money in a bank account feels very abstract and distant to the brain. But a cigarette feels immediate.
Right. Instant gratification.
Exactly.
Huh?
So hack number 3 makes the future reward feel immediate and visual. You calculate exactly how much money you spend on cigarettes every single week.
Okay.
And then you take that actual physical cash and put it inside a clear glass jar right on your desk or kitchen counter.
Because it's not just a digital number on a screen. You are physically watching a pile of money grow in front of your eyes every single day.
Exactly. Watching that cash accumulate gives your brain a tangible, undeniable reward. It provides a daily hit of dopamine that basically replaces the dopamine from the smoke.
That is so smart.
It is. Within a month, you can look at that jar and say, wow, that's a weekend vacation, or that's a brand new pair of headphones.
That is such a brilliant shift in perspective, because it proves that breaking a habit isn't actually about misery or punishing yourself at all.
No, not at all.
You aren't losing a friend. You are gaining physical cash, better lung capacity, and more time. You realize you don't need a little paper stick to feel calm or to be sociable.
And that is the ultimate realization the psychology points toward. The habit tries to convince you that you need it to function. But once you see the illusion, you realize you already have the physiological tools to relax and focus.
So you take that knowledge, you wash your favorite jacket so it doesn't smell like smoke anymore, you throw away the dusty old ashtrays, and you just make a firm decision to start fresh.
Yes.
Which brings us to our next phrase, to turn the page. Throwing away your lighter is a powerful symbol that you are ready to turn the page and live healthy.
I love that phrase. It is a profound psychological step, making a fresh start, leaving the past behaviors entirely behind you. You are the author of your own story. The previous chapter had this bad habit in it, but you are choosing to turn the page and write a completely different next chapter.
This has been such an illuminating deep dive. We've explored Hebbian learning. We proved that cigarettes don't cure stress. They cause it just like wearing tight shoes. And we talked about swapping the routine and the habit loop.
We covered a lot of ground.
We did. But, understanding how easily our brains wire these habits together, it leaves you with a lingering, almost unsettling thought about the future.
Oh yeah, how so?
Well, if a simple combination of dried leaves and a coffee cup can trick our dopamine system this thoroughly, what new tight shoes are technology companies designing for us right now?
Oh wow.
Right. With algorithms and infinite scrolling, they are essentially hacking these exact same habit loops without us even realizing it.
That is a brilliant and honestly slightly terrifying point. The mechanisms of addiction are universal, whether the delivery system is a cigarette or a smartphone screen. But the defense is exactly what we did today. Understanding the psychology behind the curtain.
Yes, exactly. Now, before we officially wrap up this deep dive, we want to make sure these concepts really stick with you.
That's right.
We have a lot of listeners who use our deep dives to sharpen their English language skills, so we're going to do a clear review section of our 5 key phrases from today's discussion.
Oh, great idea.
Yeah, we will give you a quick summary of the meaning, and then we will read the exact example sentence for each phrase again to really help lock it into your memory.
This is a great practice for retention. Let's do it.
Okay, I'll start. Number 1, to kick the habit. This means successfully and completely ending a dangerous or negative daily routine for good. The exact sentence we used was, it takes a lot of patience, but millions of people manage to kick the habit every single year.
Perfect. Number 2 is a coping mechanism. This is a psychological strategy or an action you use to deal with difficult emotions and daily stress. The example was, many people think smoking is a great coping mechanism, but it actually increases your long-term anxiety.
Awesome. Number 3. To go cold turkey. This means abruptly and completely stopping an addictive habit instantly rather than slowly reducing it. And the example sentence. Some people prefer to cut down slowly, while others choose to go cold turkey and stop immediately.
Nice. Number 4, to trigger an urge. This means to cause a sudden, intense craving or desire to do something, usually sparked by an environmental cue. The exact sentence. Drinking a hot cup of coffee in the morning can easily trigger an urge to light a cigarette.
And finally, number 5, to turn the page. This means making a fresh start, moving forward, and leaving past mistakes or bad habits entirely behind you. And the exact example. Throwing away your lighter is a powerful symbol that you are ready to turn the page and live healthy.
Excellent review. I hope those phrases and the psychology behind them serve you well, whatever habit you might be working on.
Absolutely. And speaking of working on habits, we want to hear from you directly. Have you ever tried to kick a bad habit like smoking or overeating? What was your secret trick to win the battle? Let us know in the comments below.
We truly love reading through your experiences. The habit loop might be universal, but everyone's personal strategy to break it offers a really unique perspective that someone else might need to hear.
So true. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. Remember, the next time you feel stressed and reach for that familiar bad habit, just ask yourself, are you actually fixing a problem, or are you just taking off a pair of tight shoes? See you next time.
Bye, everyone.